Hello, darlings! Today on Binky's Gaming Thoughts, the rebellion of Elvhenan, the Silver Age, and the downfall of Elvhenan.
I sought to set my people free from slavery to would-be gods. I broke the chains of all who wished to join me. The false gods called me Fen'Harel, and when they finally went too far, I formed the Veil and banished them forever. Thus I freed the Elven people, and in so doing, destroyed their world.
The resistance against the Evanuris'S was led by Solas. He had refused the claim for divinity. He did not want to be called a god, and posed as a mortal. So then the Evanuris'S called him the Dread Wolf. They warned the Elven people against him. Solas wanted to set the people free from their slavery, and he removed the Valisleen of all who joined, thus breaking the bonds they had to their former masters. He also had taken on a mortal form in order to help Mythal by her behest, while she still had her more Fade-like form. So his form had shifted somewhat, and it was so that he could help the people more prominently. And he created a refuge in a remote valley for this.
Yes, I can feel their pain. They came here hurt, hungry. This was help, a new home.
This whole valley was a sanctuary created by the dread wolf Fen'Harel.
Those whom Fen'Harel trusted, including Mythal, knew his secret greeting, which I analyzed and translated a few weeks back. Armelana dir Thavaren revas vir anaris. The Evanuris'S disguised their own falsehood, so maybe they switched, and claimed the same of Fen'Harel. So they disguised their falsehood and said, oh, he's disguising his falsehood. Clever. A note called The Treachery of the Wolf reads, beware the forms of Fen'Harel. The dread wolf comes in humble guises, a wanderer who knows much of the people and their spirits. He will offer advice that seems fair, but turns slowly to poison. Remember the price of treason, and keep in your heart the mercy of your gods. Yeah, sounds like veiled threats to me. Yeah, poison against the slavers. Price of treason. Yeah, benevolent Evanuris'S, my Solas. How bearable is that pun? They just didn't want to lose their slaves. Okay? They just didn't want to lose their slaves. So Solas and his followers fought back against the Evanuris'S. During this time, in order to prevent the enemy to use them, almost all Elvheans were sealed. Due to this, many elves were trapped in unreachable areas, unreachable destinations, and died because of this, died of starvation. In revenge, servants killed sleeping dreamers. So the nobles and the Evanuris'S sealed the access of the Elvheans, and so the slaves killed the dreamers. Solas also killed several during this time. The last straw came when the Evanuris'S killed Mythal.
They killed Mythal. A crime for which an eternity of torment is the only fitting punishment.
I thought Mythal was one of the Evanuris'S.
She was the best of them. She cared for her people. She protected them. She was a voice of reason. And in their lust for power, they killed her.
Solas, unable to kill the Evanuris'S, probably also because he was a more mortal form and not in a godly form, devised his plan to lock the Evanuris'S up in the Fade and lock the Forgotten Ones in the Abyss, and created the Veil, which keeps them locked there.
You love the Fade. Why would you create the Veil to hide it all away?
Because every alternative was worse.
Meaning?
Had I not created the Veil, the Evanuris'S would have destroyed the entire world.
The act was referred to as holding back the sky and was performed at Skyhold, hence the name Skyhold, hold back the sky. That makes sense. I wonder in which area of Skyhold this was performed. Maybe the gardens, probably somewhere in the outside, maybe the courtyard. However, the veil blocked the conscious connection of most to the Fade, and so they began aging. The places that were intrinsically tied to the Fade, like Vir de Thara, were shattered. That's why it's called the Shattered Library. Paths between these places crumbled. Knowledge was destroyed. It killed many Elven and fractured spirits. Solas basically created demons. Unless the Evanuris'S did that. Looking at you, Andril, with the plague that you brought back from the void. Solas was greatly weakened and fell into a slumber Uthenera for centuries.
I lay in dark and dreaming sleep while countless wars and ages passed. I woke still weak a year before I joined you.
The Silver Age began then, where elves mourned the past, and new generations lost understanding of it. Many elders entered Uthenera. The Elven calendar claims humans arrived from Parvolen in -3100 Ancient. For a short while, humans and elves interacted and traded, and all was well. There are ancient underground ruins in the Brazilian forest that were built by humans but bear elven elements and are proof of this early friendship. It is said to have been a place of serenity where elders came to slumber and were visited by those offering tribute to gods for them until they perished from an unknown enemy. The elves never knew what caused them to age, never realized it was the creation of the veil. They thought it was because of humans. Humans formed the Tevinter Imperium, while Arlathan and its forest stood nearby. The Imperium expanded, and settlers were met with hostility by the elves, who thought humans were the cause of them aging and becoming ill. So settlers come, elves are like angry at them because they think it's their fault that they're aging, so they attack them. So then humans hate elves, so they attack them, and it just perpetuates war.
It started with a war. War breeds fear. Fear breeds a desire for simplicity. Good and evil, right and wrong, chains of command.
All because of the Evanuris'S. All because of the Evanuris'S started it, basically. Thus, war between elves and humans began. War ensued between the Tevinter Imperium and the elves of Arlathan, of what remained of Elvhenan. In -981 Ancient, Archon Thalassian waged war on Arlathan. It lasted 6 years. This was in retaliation of settlements vanishing. And in -975 Ancient, Tevinter Magisters used blood magic and sank Arlathan into the ground, destroying more knowledge, culture, and art. And already knowledge, culture, and art had already been destroyed with the creation of the veil. So now more destruction to that. Hence why so much of elven history was lost. The elves fled, afraid to catch the Shemlin's disease. The others who remained were enslaved. Those who fled found shelter in Cadhalash Taig, but the dwarves of Kalsharok destroyed Cadhalash to hide the evidence from their human allies. So they perished in the end. There were also battles at Sundermount, where the elves summoned Enasalina Belas, arcane warriors whose names mean sorrowful victory. both sides perished and unleashed Fade creatures onto that land. So a bunch of demons popped up. The Tevinter Imperium did not deem elves who had magic as worthy. Not as worthy as them. Finally, centuries later, the elves were freed by Arlathan and Andraste. They found new homelands in the Dales. Much of the history, lore, and language of ancient Elvhenan was lost by this time. There still remain ancient ruins in Arlathan Forest, now called the Mourning Lands, and in the Temple of Mythal. The ancient elves were able to counter the passage of time and survived.
I am called Abelas. We are sentinels, tasked with standing against those who trespass on sacred ground. We wake only to fight, to preserve this place. Our numbers diminish with each invasion.
Other such places whose locations are unknown exist, and thus all truth was lost until now, where only snippets have been found. Let me know your thoughts about the downfall and history of Elvenan. As per usual, like this video if you like it, subscribe to be Rosie approved, and I'll see you all soon. Masaranas. If you're new here and you like my content, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon for notifications. Like it if you like it, for the like it if you like it dance. You can also follow my website, binkyproductions.com, where I post everything from all my channels. Exclusive! If you want to support me, consider buying my book, Stardust Destinies 1, Variant Facing, Magic, Dragons, Fantasy, all relevant links below. Thank you so much for your time. Your continued viewership is very much appreciated. Masaranas.